Any minute now.
Hello, I'm Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy, or we show you how to navigate space. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, midnight Eastern Time, and 1 p.m. Saturday in Hong Kong. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. Thanks so much for joining us. Today's topic, teaching Mars rovers how to classify Martian terrain. And then we'll talk about the March skies for a little bit. Go ahead, Jeff, take it away.
Okay. Well, they changed the name of the project I was going to talk about. It's now AI for Mars. They still have the old name as the subheader, teaching Mars rovers how to classify Martian terrain. AI for Mars is certainly easier to remember and say, since I won't have to look it up all the time now. Though they changed the name, the project is the same as I remember it last week.
Great.
When I was looking it up.
We wanted to say hi to Christina and Jared. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Jared. And it's all about creating data sets of terrain types to help. Did you want to show the screen?
Sorry, yes, my bad. Here we go.
There you go.
There it is.
There's AI for Mars. It's another Zooniverse. So that's where you can find it. You can see that on the URL. So as I was saying, it's all about creating data sets for terrain types to help train the AI that drives the current batch of rovers. This reduces the amount of micromanaging that JPL has to do.
Cliff here too. Hi, Cliff.
Oh, hey, Cliff.
Thanks for joining us.
And he said Dave is out. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't seen Dave yet. It's just Christina and Jared and Cliff now.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Yep. Okay. Reduces the amount of micromanaging JPL has to do, especially considering that the micromanaging has roughly a half-hour turnaround time for each command.
Right. Yeah, it's like 17 minutes there, 17 minutes back. They have no idea what happens for another 17 minutes.
Yeah. Well, actually, once they give the command, they have no idea what happens for about 40 minutes.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And that turnaround time is actually dangerous because if you're trying to micromanage it, it's 17 minutes until after it ran into trouble, before you know. And then another 17 minutes to, hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Seth. Hello.
Yep. Oh, hey, Seth. Okay.
Yep.
The onboard terrain classification software is called SPOC. They don't explain the acronym on the site. I can only assume that they have some Trekkies and they came up with some words to justify calling the AI Spock. If anyone if anyone can refute that, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure that that's what happened. We're actually working on Spock 2. Spock 1 had a smaller data set, and now they've got a lot more images to play with, and so they're doing Spock 2. As you can see from the shading, the AI decides how dangerous the terrain is based on what it can see. It's our job to look at the Mars photos like this and draw outlines of different terrain types. And here you go. This is an example of the of polygons that people draw to show the types of terrain in there.
And there's 2 of them in this particular shot, right?
Right. Yeah. In fact, and apparently we're classifying it into sand, soil, bedrock, and big rocks. In fact, this that's too big. If you were wondering what this polygon in the center is, this white one, that's a 20 centimeter or 50 centimeter wide strip just for scale, because they don't want you to classify anything that's smaller than that, because I guess that's the smallest that they can like go past with the wheels of that rover.
Oh, so the wheel is probably big enough to overcome
right, yeah,
something smaller than
and
that. Okay,
since Curiosity and now Perseverance are bigger than Spirit Opportunity, it's 50 centimeters for the new rovers.
Okay.
And 20 centimeters for the old ones. Basically, what they're showing is that this line here is too small to break it up, because if this patch of soil was bigger between the rocks, they'd want you to mark the different zones of rock separately. But since it's small enough, just include it in.
Got it. Okay.
And this is a bit more complicated than most of the Zooniverse ones, as you can see by how many sections there are to this tutorial.
That's a lot of steps.
Yeah.
But it sounds really fun. It sounds like it's, if you like that kind of thing, you're a little more, interested in being a little more involved or a little more technical. This would be a really good project for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Now, they do give a warning that they only put this trapezoid in on the black and white ones. The color ones don't have it. So you're going to have to learn this shape or that size and just eyeball it for the color ones.
Got it. Okay.
And they also don't want you to look at anything out past 30 meters. I guess it's just too small, too hard to classify.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, in the black and white ones, they shade it a darker color so that you can distinguish it. In the color ones, again, they don't do that. So you just have to learn how to eyeball it.
Okay.
And some of the color ones, the camera's pointing pretty far down, so you're not seeing out 30 feet or 30 meters anyway.
Got it. Okay.
So it won't matter in a lot of the color ones. And if you can't really tell what it is, say it's a jumble of multiple things, or you just can't tell, don't label it. Because if it's labeled, if you mark it, the AI will pay attention to that and will add that. If it's not marked, the AI just ignores that area and doesn't learn anything from it. But it's better to not learn anything than to learn a wrong thing.
So is this something that some scientists eventually will get to? I know this is crowdsourced, so regular folks aren't going to be delving into that unknown area. Will the scientists ever delve into it, do you think? Or
I don't know if they can see all of them. I think what they'll do is anything that's flagged by having, a lot of differences in it, because they usually have about 15 or more people classify each photo. So if there's enough changes in it, if there's only one or two that are outliers, they throw them out.
Okay.
If there's enough outliers, if there's enough variance in there, they'll probably have someone that knows what they're doing look at that one.
Okay. That's cool.
They also don't want you to overlap, because that'll confuse the heck out of the AI. This terrain is both.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Don't lie to your AI.
Don't confuse your AI.
No, don't confuse your AI.
Though I don't think the Rovers are going to go Skynet on anyone.
No. Or Hal.
Yeah.
That was my reference.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Hal was confused. Skynet was.
No, they lied to Hal.
Yeah, I know. But that's why he was confused.
I see. Okay.
Skynet was just homicidal.
That's true.
Which, who the hell would create an AI like that? I mean, you have to create that. Don't do that. For anyone who's creating AI, don't do that. Okay. Sand. Sand is the big no-go for the rover. Rovers get stuck in sand if it's too deep. And you can't tell how deep it is from the photos usually. So,
okay.
So just sand don't go unless there's no other way to get there, I guess. In here, this whole area is sand. And here, if you see, they just marked this area sand.
Because a couple of the rovers got stuck in the sand, and so they're no longer operational because they got stuck in the sand.
I think one got stuck and then got itself out eventually.
Oh, that's right. I think you're right.
But one did get itself stuck. So yeah, and sand is easy to tell from the ripples and stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know, and this is soil. The rover likes soil.
Like soil.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it doesn't sink in it. It gets good grip. It likes soil.
Very good.
So, so soil is good.
And rocks would probably be good too, right?
Right, yeah. Not quite as good because it can slip on rocks, but it's usually broken up enough that it doesn't matter. But I don't know why they chose going back here, green for sand. Green usually means go. In this case, it means don't go. But hey, they're NASA. They don't need to know the real world.
Oh dear. Well, that looks like rock, right?
Yeah,
there.
and this is bedrock. So yellow is for bedrock. And here you can see that this gap is big enough that they separated it into two chunks because it's wider than this trapezoid.
So we got green for
sand,
yellow for bedrock,
and blue for soil so far.
Okay.
And yeah, and here the whole image, except for I suppose the wheel, but I think the rover knows what its own body parts are.
Okay.
I would hope. And here's our first example. Purple or magenta, as they call it, is for big rocks. Apparently, there's not a lot of big rocks on Mars. I guess they get worn down, covered up, whatever.
Okay.
Or they're part of a mountain. But apparently there aren't a lot of images of big rocks on flat areas. And this is showing you a fairly complicated piece of terrain since it has almost every type of terrain in it.
Right.
And this is just a whole bunch of soil with some big rocks at the edge of it.
So the rocks are a problem for the rover, or they just want to know that they're there?
They're a problem.
They are a problem.
They can get hung up on the rocks.
Okay.
You know, if it's big enough, it can end up straddling one and having wheels not being able to touch the ground.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
No. No, they actually got kind of stuck on a rock early on and were able to rock it back and forth and get it off the rock.
Okay.
I meant by early on, I meant one of the early rovers, not the current batch.
Okay, got it.
And here's where we post. They say that they post more examples by NASA experts, not where the tutorial says that they are. In fact, throughout it, it'll say, go to the grayscale images to learn how to do this, with the helpful guides of the shading and the trapezoid. However, all of the grayscales are done.
Okay.
They've been completed, and so they're not there to practice with. However, on the right side, there's a tab called Field Guide. And in there, you can see a bunch of images that are, you can see a bunch of images that are marked by NASA scientists. So you can look at the field guide and see how they marked it and learn from that.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great way to learn. And here's that link again, people. So if you want to go there, that's universe.org/project/HIRO.
Yeah.
What's the rest of that? Can you read it?
HIRO-ONO-/AI for Mars. Or quite frankly, go to Zooniverse, go to projects, scroll all the way to the end for space. I don't know why they stick it all the way at the end. But 2 clicks on the right arrow gets you to space, and then find AI for Mars. That's the easy way to find it.
All right. Thanks so much, Jeff. Really appreciate that. And if you have any questions, absolutely let us know. Go ahead and put that in chat, and we will do our best to help you out. I think the next part here, I will just talk about what you can see in the night sky this week and kind of some stuff that's happening. And that's going to be including March the 5th tonight through March the 12th. The moon is 22 days old. It is actually last quarter moon. The new moon is on March the 13th. That's Saturday of next week, so one day after. And basically most of the excitement is in the east right now before the sun rises with three of the bright planets that you can see there. They're very, very low in the sky, though, so you really want a very low horizon or a flat horizon, or get up somewhere high so that you can see these objects, and it's going to be pretty spectacular all the same. Just very, very low. Mars, though, is still high in the sky, and that's in the evening, kind of, pretty much high up and a little bit slightly southish, and then it, sets in the west, just like everything. Vesta is a good object to look for, but you will need binoculars for that, and that's something you can find in the tail of Leo. And I think right now you want to kind of wait until it rises a little bit more, not right at sunset. And it's going to get easier and easier as the month wears on. Did anyone see the conjunction this morning? That was Mercury and Saturn, and they were very nearly merged. Like we said, again, this is before sunrise in the east. Very, very low. I think that was almost as cool as the one in the evening last December with Jupiter and Saturn. I know they were very, very close. If anybody's seen that, I would love to know. Also today, like I said, last quarter, the 6th is Mercury is at its greatest western elongation. It's going to be observed in the east, but it is at that kind of the highest point it gets.
Mercury is this shaped then, right?
Its orbit appears that way in our sky. And March the 8th, Pluto and the moon. Again, all this stuff is in the eastern sky before sunrise. With the moon being this kind of a what I call a small moon, it's like a thin crescent, and it's actually waning at this point. It's a very good signpost for things, but it doesn't make the sky too bright with the glow from the moon, so that you can find these things like Pluto. Pluto is very, very faint, and it's also not a naked eye object. You will want some help with that. March the 9th, yeah.
Wilson help.
I think you can actually see these things with binoculars or a small telescope. I don't absolutely know. I haven't seen Pluto yet, but possibly. But it's available if you want to take a look. Try for it. It's like everything. You'd like a good challenge? There you go. March the 9th, Saturn and the moon are in conjunction, also in the east before sunrise. March the 10th, I'm just going to keep talking about the east before sunrise. Mercury, Jupiter, and Neptune, all in the east before sunrise. It's really easy to see Mercury and Jupiter. You will need help with Neptune, and as we're going, each day the moon is getting smaller and smaller, and thinner crescent. It's still going to be waning. This is a really good time to see these things, because you do have kind of a signpost with Mercury and Jupiter and the moon, and that should help you find stuff like Neptune. So let's see, March the 10th. Oh, and this is just something that's happening. The weekly space hangout is March the 10th. Every Wednesday, except for when it's hot here in the Northern Hemisphere. I actually will be on the show on the 17th. March 12th, Venus, Neptune, and the moon are in conjunction, again in the east. And I've said all the other stuff. Look for the really small moon, a very thin crescent, because the next day, March the 13th, is the new moon. Venus and Neptune are in conjunction. And so that's basically it for this week. We had a really, really slow month in a lot of February, but March, bam, it's getting real exciting right off the bat. So pretty good week. All in the morning, though. All in the morning, though, yeah. So if you are an early bird, go and take a look. It's pretty neat over there, and lots. They're all moving around. They're all kind of like in little triangles and straight lines and different things. And if you like to take pictures of now the iPhones and stuff, they do an incredible job. I've seen people just point and shoot and get this wow, you got that picture just with your iPhone, with your okay. Yeah. Well, thanks, Cliff. I don't know, Pluto. Has anybody seen it with a small telescope?
I think Wilson can see it as a white dot.
Okay. Yeah, and the Hubble would be a very good choice. Thanks, Cliff. So if you have any questions about that, we'd love to talk to you about that, and we'll try and answer as many as we can during the show. And of course, I come in later and talk to you in the comments afterwards. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. And if you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, and I see Seth is coming back every week. We got to talk to him someday, Seth. Yeah, you need to come on our show. We would love to share our life. And so for next week, we would love you to come back and join us next Friday, which is March the 12th. And I am going to talk about the weekly space hangout crew. It occurred to me when I actually substituted last Wednesday for Carolyn. You know, those folks help to produce the show. They're doing a lot of stuff in behind the scenes, and they help pick the speakers that they have every week. They help organize all of the people like me. I'm a junior journalist on the show, and some of the other folks, they actually have like, you know, PhDs in astronomy and stuff. And so yeah, if you want to like get involved with producing a show that is basically every week, the weekly space hangout crew would be a great opportunity for you. And like I said, we want to show you the things that you can actually do involving space exploration and science and astronomy. So that's all I have for tonight. You got anything else?
Well, just once again, Elon Musk talking about things that an everyday person can do.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, showing with with his latest rocket that Elon Musk is playing Kerbal Space Program Elite version.
That's a real expensive game, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so if we do have a guest, though, I will have them come and talk. If not, I will go ahead and delve into the weekly space hangout crew next week. And we'll see you then.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a good
Bye-bye.
week. Bye.